she's the best in the world, but if she's hungry, you just have to stay away from her. Like, she's a little toddler.
Hello and welcome back to Mother Rucker, the one and only podcast dedicated to Irish women's rugby.
We've all had a little break and we are raring to go for pre-season.
We promise we won't make you do burpees or run laps.
Over the next few episodes, we'll be catching up with some of the top names in and around Ireland camp.
Join us as we unpack the 2025 Six Nations, we find out what life is really like inside Irish camp and how the team's prep for the Rugby World Cup is going.
Plus, we've got 2 warm-up games in August that are shaping up to be absolute belters, and we'll be bringing you all the behind-the-scenes build-up and banter.
So, whether you're a rugby lifer, a new fan, or just here for the crack, you're in the right place.
Bear crawls, optional.
Welcome to Mother Rucker pre-season. Hello and welcome back to Mother Rucker pre-season. Today we talk to the 2025 Players Player of the Year, the only player to play all 400 minutes of this year's Six Nations, a woman who punches so far above her weight it defies logic. This old Belvedere and Irish Wolfhound Centre is just one of 3 Irish players to make the Six Nations Team of the Year. It's Aoife Dalton. Welcome, Aoife.
Hi, how are you?
Not too bad. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. God, it was a lovely introduction. You're very good. But yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Good. Also joining us is a railway union former child prodigy who blasted onto the seven scenes at just 18 years of age, a ferociously competitive player across both codes of 7s and 15s, and apparently, according to Jane and Nadia last week, a wannabe prop. It's Aoife Higgins.
Wow, yeah. Hi, how are you? Thanks for having me on. Very, very true statement. We've asked multiple times and I've not been allowed near it. So, yeah, unfortunately.
I think you just need to keep pushing. I mean, there's no harm.
Listen, I know. I'm trying to learn everything from them, but it's not obviously good enough for our old Dennis. So, unfortunately, I'm still have a few more years now to push it, but hopefully soon.
Bulk up a bit and I think you'll be there.
Yeah, hopefully.
I was going to say, is it the allowance of food at mealtime?
That's it. I don't know. Yeah, it must be.
Aoife, how is week 3 now, I think, in camp? How is that going?
It's good, yeah. A good few tired bodies today now. Girls are dragging themselves around the place. But it's been really good. We were obviously away from each other for like 5 weeks, so coming back in to see everyone was really nice. It's been tough. Like we have 2 kind of big days during the week. We're in for 4 days. So Tuesdays and Thursdays are pretty full on, like it's all go, and then you get a chance to kind of rest then after. But yeah, it's flown by at the same time. It sounds like it's going to be really long and dragged out, but it's actually gone so quick now, and all of a sudden we're like nearly at the end of June. So
what are the big, really heavy sessions like at the moment?
Our Tuesday is more like team-based stuff, so it's all, we run through our sets and stuff, and it's like high ball and play time, lots of like kick sprints and double efforts and stuff like that. And then Thursday's like kind of a conditioning session where it's a bit grim, like you're just doing like like little small-sided games, and then you're going into contact conditioning and then a bit of running. So yeah, it's full on, but it's really enjoyable, I do have to say now.
Eve, for you, is kind of this end of pre-season and the prep for the World Cup, is it really all business, or is there still time for kind of enjoying the process of it?
No, 100%. It's a bit of a mixture of both. Pre-season, it's a great time to actually work on a lot of skills, a lot of fitness. We're so fortunate to be based in a place like HPC, where we have access to pretty much everything: hydrotherapy, state-of-the-art gym, and brilliant pitches outside that, like, as much as Aoife Dalton says, it flies by. We're so lucky to actually have 8 weeks, to prep together, and it flies by, but at least we know every week we're pushing and trying to work on things, and we can actively see each other working on things.
Looking at, I suppose we're 2 months out from the World Cup, is the detail really, really detailed, looking at who our opponents in the pool stages are going to be, or even the World Cup warm-ups? Or are we talking more kind of macro stuff? We're talking about working on the broader game and broader structures?
I suppose it's we've we have like our timetable or our structure of the summer are in blocks. So one block might be very much us focused on ourselves, focused on developing ourselves in different areas of our game. Um, and our next block then will be focusing more so on teams in our group, focusing on what their strengths are, you know, what can we pick from them, what can we develop on our own, while also having a quite focus on ourselves. So it's like, again, it's great to have so much time together as a group for World Cup, that we have the opportunity to do both, to look not only at ourselves but actually prepare for teams that we have in the group stages.
Aoife, with the shift in defensive coach from Hugh Hogan to James Gazebrook coming in, I'm talking to you because to me you're the defensive element of the team, and you're the leader in terms of the defensive game. Is there much changing in terms of the structures, or is it sort of just adding on to and building on what you already had?
Yeah, I suppose it is building on what we already had. Like our defense is like probably it's such a strength of the group we have, and it's gotten us out of trouble so many times. Like that's really what let us hold on against England in the first half down in Cork this year. And it's definitely not just down to me. Like the work the forwards do, just around the ruck and like around set piece as well. It's so much detail for them, and even our backfield stuff, like everyone's just so on the ball with it. But obviously like Hugh left and he was a fantastic coach and we all loved him. But James has just come in and kind of just lifted it again, and I suppose building on what we already have set the foundation for from Six Nations. Um, but yeah, it's definitely like it's obviously a change. It's a new coach, but he's great. Like his attention to detail is great. We really like him as well. He's funny and he's loads of experience from playing. And yeah, it as you said, like it's a huge strength of the team and the squad, and we just want to like keep building on that and make sure it stays that way.
Eve, when a new coach comes into a structure like that, and you know, obviously it was very well established across the Six Nations, what is it like having even just a new personality in? Is there an adaptation period, or is it just let's get on with it?
Um, it's kind of, I think we know Stino, our kicking coach, Gareth Steenson, and the same as Scott has known James for a long time. Both have played with him, and Stino has played with him and coached alongside him. So, like, even before camp started, having conversations with the likes of those and hearing how much of a positive influence he could be in our group was huge coming in. And we have a tradition kind of amongst our team that, you know, we have our green wave mantra, and when someone enters our green wave, they tell us their why. So they stand up in front of our team and kind of tell us why they play rugby, why they do what they do. And I think that's great for people to come in, and we get to know straight away a bit more about themselves, which is hard to do with a group so big. But again, we're around each other for 4 days of the week, 24/7. So there's always a chance to sit down with James, have a coffee, and it's been great to have that opportunity. Whereas in times gone by, you wouldn't have had that opportunity, and you wouldn't have had as much opportunity to sit down and have a chat. So, just building on what Aoife said, he's a great person to have in, and like to have so much knowledge. From him to ask him as a player and a coach is brilliant, and it's been great having him in.
You mentioned there that you know you're for 4 days a week you're around each other 24/7. I assume you're all in a hopefully a nice hotel and you're rooming together. What's that like? It must be quite intense being surrounded by each other for 4 days, week in, week out.
Yeah, it is. I think like everyone kind of ends up doing their own thing. Like we're together in the gym, together at training, and when we go back to the hotel, girls kind of do what they want. So some girls like need to game ready or Norma Tech just because they have little niggles or something, and then like some girls like to like we've like board games and stuff, and some girls like that and to like keep social, and other girls just like to go to their room and like be on their own for a while. And like the group is so lovely. We're so blessed with the group we have. Like I really do mean that. Like I think everyone can say they can be themselves, and you know if someone wants to just go off on their own, then that's fine. Nobody even asks any questions. So it's a chance just for you to kind of just relax and essentially just be yourself, I suppose. So it is really intense in here, and it does get tough at times, but I think like just with the ease, like the group is so easy to be around and be a part of. So I think that makes it so much easier when you do get downtime and you know you can just do whatever you want, really.
Eve, you're nodding away there as soon as she says that, it's a really good group. And anybody we've spoken to, and, we've seen other interviews of people talking about how tight the group is and how wonderful a group of people and the individuals coming together. Is this something that you've experienced before? Obviously, you've done a whole lot of, the sevens circuit. You've been part of the sevens groups and the 15s groups, your club. Is this one of the tightest groups you've had experience with, I suppose?
Yeah, 100%. Like it's one of the best environments I've ever experienced. And the culture we have, like I think it's a very difficult thing to put, 30 plus people together and have them all in unison in the sense of exactly what Aoife said when we go back to the hotel. It's such a great group of people that I'm always find that I'm laughing around each other. And like, we've a social committee, like we've been painting last week, as a little social activity on Tuesdays. I think the importance of like putting time aside that you can come to a social activity, like it's, and also just saying that it's never forced on anyone, in the sense that, like, as Aoife said, people might want to just go to their rooms and be alone. And I think it's a huge thing for like young players even coming through. Like, it's a lot to be together for 4 days in a row, and it's actually probably a hard place to be in finding out what is best for yourself in a situation, or in this, like, before going into a tough day of training on Tuesday, what will put myself into a best scenario? Is it being around my group of close friends, or is it about actually having time by myself? And and I'm even lucky enough to, the likes of, say, Enya, we've known each other since we were 15, 16, and we're so close. And it's such like a privilege to be working alongside friends, because it doesn't actually even feel like work. Like they're the there's friends in here that we go for coffee on their days off. So not only are we together for 4 days during the week, but on the Friday then we'll go for coffees or brunch or something. So 100%, it's a brilliant environment. And I think we've a lot to thank to Sean Ryan, our culture lead, who's from day one under Scott brought us together, and kind of we as players decided what our mantra was, decided what our culture would be, and what we wanted us to represent, not only to everyone watching, but what someone would feel if they're in our group. So yeah, it's brilliant. It really is.
So just to try and get to know the two of you a bit more as individuals, Aoife, you made your debut against Japan, I believe, on tour in 2023 at just the age of 19. I think a lot of us would look at you as a player and think you're one of the more experienced, you're one of the the older heads in the team, forgetting that you've literally just turned 22. You're still quite young. What has your journey been like so far, particularly starting at such a young age?
Yeah, it's been crazy. Like, when I was younger, I never ever thought like this was like the path for me. Like, I don't know, I just never imagined myself playing for Ireland. And then it kind of just happened really quickly. Like, I actually trained with the sevens for a couple of months before I got capped, and Eve was there, and like they started winning medals, and it was so cool to like see them do that. And then yeah, I just got brought on the tour to Japan. But yeah, it's been crazy. There's definitely been ups and downs as well. Like, I've been dropped to the bench a good few times. I've started a good few times, so it's like it comes with a lot of emotions. And you've like, it might look like this kind of smooth sailing journey, but like it never is, and I don't think anybody's ever is. But yeah, I've like loved it. It's like still a bit surreal for me. Like, I don't know, like Eve said, like it's our job, but like it doesn't even feel like a job. And yeah, it's just, I think where we are now, it's so exciting as well. Like, I feel like so thankful to be a part of it, because the group we have, and like just the experiences we've had, like in Canada and stuff, beating New Zealand, like to do that as a group, it was just so special for us. And yeah, I just never, like, if you told me 3 years ago, like, all this would have happened and I would have went to Canada and all this, like, I just would have never believed it. So yeah, surreal is probably the best word to describe how it's been.
Sounds like you're living the dream. Um, your defensive game, like I said earlier, it's very much your strength and it's what stands out, certainly as a fan looking at the game. You've got a huge impact on the game, though you don't cast a huge shadow as a player yourself. Do you think your defensive strengths come down to technique, your ability to read a scenario in front of you, or is it somewhat instinctive?
Um, I think when I came in, it was something that I not even wanted to be like amazing at. I just wanted to feel confident doing it because like there's just not too many good centers knocking around that are bad defenders. It was more just I wanted to be able to feel comfortable and confident doing it. And I've had so much help along the way from like all of our defence coaches, Dec Donnelly, Hugh Hogan, and now Skays as well. So it's definitely not just down to me. And also like a lot of it is what goes on your inside as well. Like they kind of set the marker for like what you're able to do in the outside channels. So like even with Eve inside me, like I feel so comfortable just like being able to make reads, and some of it is a bit instinctive, like, and it's, it's high risk, high reward, I suppose. And when it comes off, it looks really good, but then I don't know, you end up missing a tackle and then there's like a line break or something. So that's probably the instinctive side of it. But yeah, I just really enjoyed that side of the game. Like my super strength is not running 60 meters of the pitch and scoring a try. So I was like, I have to be good at something else. So I just kind of went after that.
I think, on these shores, we've probably got a good history of producing some really, really good defensive 13s. We look at the likes of Gary Ringrose, Brian O'Driscoll, and back to Lynn Cantwell as well. We've produced some really, really top end defenders who seem like a linchpin within the defence. How do you feel you fit into that, and do you feel like it's an adequate comparison that you are one of the best defensive 13s that there is?
I don't know if I go that far now, to be honest, at all.
I would.
Oh God, I really don't think so. But I honestly do think it's down to like the work we've done as a team. Like, and Eva's played 13 as well. She knows what it's like out there and how much of a difference it makes when you're just all on the same page as a group. And it probably is down to like our systems and the buy-in from the players and the work of the defensive coaches. So I do think it's like a full team effort, but I suppose I just feel like I'm able to do that for the team and that's what I can give them. As I said, like I'm not going to run and beat 6 defenders and score a try. So I feel like if I can give that to the team, then I'll be happy.
Eve, you also started playing at a very young age. I was chatting during the week to JC, Johnny Cronin at Railway, and he talked about you as a 14-year-old and, putting a bib on you for no contact, but getting you involved. You started so young into the sevens setup, like I said, getting your first contract at 18. What was that like, still in school, but on the road to being a professional athlete?
Yeah, I think surreal is 100% the word that comes to mind as it comes to mind to Aoife. Like I remember being 16, having a few missed calls coming home from school on my phone, and I actually didn't have credit to return whoever was calling me. It was back in those days when you had the €50 credit receipt, and so I actually had to ring the number back on my mum's phone, and it went to Anthony Eddy's voicemail. And I remember just almost being so relieved that it went to voicemail because I was able to drop the phone in absolute amazement that I couldn't believe I had a missed call from him. And basically finally got through to him, and he had asked if I was able to that weekend go to Kinsale Sevens and play with the Irish development sevens team. And thankfully the next day I was actually supposed to go to the Gaeltacht with school. So if I was a day late getting that call, I would have been on the bus to Galway or somewhere being like, I need to try and get home now. I rocked up to Lansdowne, where the sevens was based at the time, and I was sitting beside Briggsy, who was playing sevens at the time, and that's someone who I was lucky enough. My dad brought me to Italy to see the women win the 2013 Grand Slam. So these are people I looked up to hugely, and next to all, I'm 16, sitting beside Briggsy, calling her a teammate, which was it was crazy. Myself, Katie Heffernan were brought in at that time, and obviously I was still in school, so I was training twice a week then from then on, through sixth year, with the sevens, and going into 15s camps like for Six Nations and stuff. And at the time I was a 10, and thankfully I'm not that anymore. I much prefer being a centre. But learning from the likes of all the players like pre-2017 World Cup and stuff was incredible, and I think it was a very much a pinch me moment. And it's still surreal now, kind of sitting here, wearing the RFU crest and stuff, and seeing that that's the reality of myself right now. And yeah, it was a whirlwind, and as soon as I left school I was in there full time, and trying to do college alongside, and it was just, I couldn't believe that I was able to call playing rugby my job, and I got to go to the likes of Sydney, got to go to Japan, all this, and do it alongside friends that I have for life. So yeah, no, it's actually crazy to think that that's still a case now, and yeah, it's a fairly surreal feeling that I don't think will ever kind of go away.
Who would you credit along the way as being one of the greatest mentors that you've had, or somebody who has taken you under their wing and guided you through the process as such a youngster and so early on?
That's a great question. Like I obviously I've had a lot to I've a lot to say around JC and stuff, and to thank them, and railway. I was getting gym programs from when I was 16 as soon as I was able to, and or 15 maybe, and the amount of time that the likes of the girls in railway put into helping me and stuff, and training alongside Lindsay Pete and all that then was huge for me. But I suppose like one that stands out, and we're so lucky to have her in the coaching team at the moment, is Larissa Muldoon. I think is an unbelievable person to have around. I remember her as a player as well, and as a player she was never she would never hold back in order to put herself forward. In a sense, she was always someone to give back, and whatever question, no matter how young you were, to come to get advice from someone so experienced as Larissa, and all she wanted to do was make people around her better. And I think it's amazing to have her amongst the squad now, because I think the amount the girls can learn, and the amount that we get the opportunity to learn from someone like her is huge. So yeah, I've 100% loads of people, and maybe if I if I had more time I'd be able to think of more, but yeah, I think it's invaluable to have someone like her amongst us.
Yeah, I've heard great things about Larissa and her coaching ability, and that same story, that she's just somebody who wants to impart knowledge and wants to improve everything around her. It's a bit that selflessness. I imagine she'll be head coach of the Irish team in the future at some point. Aoife, for you, who has been that guiding force for you throughout your career so far?
I don't know. I suppose I just played like underage with Tullamore until I was 18, and then I never played senior club there. I just moved to Belleville pretty much straight away, and then all of a sudden I was just in the HPC, kind of training with the sevens a bit, and then I got called into 15s. But I don't know, probably when I like the support from my club at home is so amazing, like, and it's such a special little club, because we've had so many. It's such a small area, like the catchment area is tiny. It's all these rural little towns in Offaly, and it's kind of some in Westmeath a bit would come in, or Leash, but like they've had so many internationals, like Nicola Friday, Ailsa Hughes, Megan Burns in the sevens, she's captain in them now, Jordan Conroy as well, and like you know, they've just punched so above their weight for what's available at home. So I owe so much to them. And like even now, I live like 10 minutes from Tullamore. When I go to Tullamore, they're just so welcoming and warm, and they're just so happy to see you. And it makes me, I feel like I should go back there now just thinking about it. But they're obviously like a huge support to me, and like a game doesn't go by where I'm named in a squad and I don't get a text off someone in the club. You know, so I'd still say like I'm part of that club even though I'm not. But probably when I moved to Dublin then, probably Tanya Rosser, to be honest. And she very much takes the route of like tough love and like hardens you a good bit. But she was the Belleville coach when I came, and she was her first year as the Leinster coach as well, and I didn't even expect to be a part of that Leinster squad. And she just kind of takes you in and treats everyone the same. You know, it doesn't really matter how many Irish caps you have or, you know, what your history is. She just kind of puts you on at the same level, which made such a difference to me at the time, because I had no Irish caps, and like I was like nobody. I was like, geez, like how am I even here? But yeah, and like she's not someone who's gonna sugarcoat things or like, you know, beat around the bush. And I'm very grateful for that now, because it just hardened us all a bit when we were younger and stuff. And I think underneath like the cold exterior she puts on, she definitely is very warm and caring, and has just definitely been like a support from afar for me. Like I know if I ever was stuck or, you know, something at training, I could definitely say it to her. And at the time I was probably a bit scared of her, but like I look back now and I'm very grateful I had that when I was younger.
I love when players talk about, you know, the club that they grew up in. There's a real sense of parochial pride, I think, when it comes to people donning the green jersey and the clubs kind of being able to put their hand up and say, you know, we had a stake in that journey. We influenced that player. So I think it's really touching that you talk about the club like that. We might move on to something a little bit different. So we're going to do a little bit of a camp trivia quiz. Macara here, Cian is going to take over. He's rubbing his hands together here. Cian, take it away.
Okay. It is where we get to have a bit of crack. So camp trivia quiz. We'll fire questions at you. They don't have to be very long answers. They don't have to be very detailed answers, but we'll need some kind of answer, as much as you can for any of them. Okay, Eve, we'll start with you. Which teammate has started a mini tradition this camp? Maybe, you know, a secret handshake, daily quote, post-race fist bump, whatever it is that everyone has followed.
I feel the tradition that comes to mind is the game we're playing Traitors, and it's Niamh Jones is the absolute epitome of it and is the brains behind it. And I think it's something that has glued us all together. And there's a lot of fights outside of training with accusations, so it's very much been amongst everyone.
Brilliant.
Aoife, what is the oddest soundtrack you've heard blasting out in camp? Be it spa music, sea shanties, like a bird song app. Where was it and who picked it?
Oh, it's definitely Niamh O'Dowd's gym playlist. She has some crackers on that. Oh my God. It's all like German rave music. You never really know what you're going to get with her anyways, but you just, when you go into the gym, you don't know what to expect.
German rave music. Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Eve, what is one small habit that you've stolen from a teammate this year and now swear by?
A habit. I'm one of those that actually I try to not have as many habits, because you know, if something goes wrong, then I don't want to blame that. But a habit. I've just something small with like the carb shoes, you know, like the likes of Noddy and Niamh O'Dowd would swear by the carb shoes and all. So probably a carb shoe nothing too exciting, but a carb shoe pre-training that if I don't have it pre a big session like on a Tuesday or Thursday, I'm worrying.
Yeah, got you. It's in the back of the head.
So Aoife, what's the last piece of feedback that you heard that instantly clicked and changed how you train or how you interact in the game?
Actually, probably Stacey Flood. It was just such a small piece of information, like, but it just makes a big difference to like how we attack and stuff. She just told me to like take once to not basically to just hold my feet a bit more, and I suppose I've just been able to get more passes away. So she's like the queen of that anyways. Like her, what's the word, distribution is like her superpower. So yeah, that definitely made a difference.
She is the queen of just having like hours on the ball when it's actually just a second and a
Yeah,
half.
exactly. She makes it look so easy.
So, so easy.
So hard to make things look easy. All right, Eve, very straightforward. Who's the in-camp queen of chaos?
I feel like I
Chaos.
know who you're going to say.
I'm gonna. Neve O'Dell's name has been spewed out so much because she is the answer to a lot of questions. She,
It's
but
real
I'll
quiet.
tell you why she's chaotic. And this is in like this is information from in camp is you might ask a question and it could be what time is it? And it could be in fact 1 o'clock. And Neve O'Dell does not know the answer and will just say 2:30 with the most like just plain simple, like that is the answer. And it will take one person's turn and be like, that's completely wrong. So I think she's the queen of chaos because she will just speak for the sake of speaking and be completely wrong and throw a chaotic thing in the mix. She's the queen of it. But we love her at the same time. It's brilliant. It's actually the funniest thing ever.
Oh,
That
amazing.
is brilliant. That is brilliant. Okay, so Aoife, if you were to do something really, really, really wrong and you didn't want to get caught, who in the squad would help you and take it to the grave, no questions asked?
Lena Maloney, definitely. Oh,
No hesitation.
Yeah,
That was a very
definitely.
quick answer.
She's
Has it happened before?
no, it hasn't. She's just very trustworthy person. So I go straight to her.
I love it.
Okay, Eve, we've heard there's a lot of low-key coffee obsessives in the squad. So, who's the best barista and who just thinks they are?
That is an extremely I don't know, like I think I'm gonna be shot if I answer this question, to be honest with you. I think this is very much there's not gonna be a winner in this scenario here. We've had a barista competition. I actually can't remember who ended up winning it.
Denise Jones win.
Neve Jones.
Yeah, I think so.
She's unbelievable. She's very good at her flat white art. But there's a few. Actually, do you know who really surprised me?
Dana.
Dana.
Yeah, she's
Honestly,
so good.
I walked into the kitchen yesterday and she had just poured her flat white, and it was the perfect little decoration on top, and I just was blown away because I think she's star course with that. So I'm going to embarrass her because I know she would hate us talking about her and say Dana is the best cafe art queen, coffee art queen, and I dare you to ask her to film herself doing it because she will never do that.
There we go. There's one for the Insta.
She'll just go bright red and say nothing.
Amazing.
Okay, so who is the absolute liability, Aoife, when they're either hangry or haven't got that caffeine hit?
I'm gonna say when they're hungry, Ruth Campbell. She's like, she's the best in the world, but if she's hungry, you just have to stay away from her. Like she's a little toddler. I don't know who's bad when they haven't had coffee. I don't really know. You probably know, Eve. Maybe.
Stacey, maybe, I don't know.
Oh, actually, yeah, Stacey with the coffee.
Stacey likes coffee, yeah. But then she goes on, like, you know, there might be all of a sudden you'll see her and she hasn't drank coffee for a week, so she's very. She, you know, she's the wave. She just, you know, goes in and out of the obsession.
Very good. We might move on to some more serious topics again. You mentioned earlier about the culture within camp and how you've defined that culture as a team. Aoife, you talked before in a previous interview about the cultural reboot under Scott Beemand. How did that come about? What were the elements that drove it, and how did you get buy-in within the team?
It was probably mostly player driven, and I think it was recognised by just everyone, like players mainly, but like staff and everyone in the IRFU. I think we just knew like we just needed a change, and especially after coming off the back of like probably our most difficult year ever, and with new coaching staff and stuff, there was just a lot of like unspoken worries, and like players were genuinely concerned, and like it kind of just came out. It was like affecting our on pitch performance so much. So it was like completely player driven, but like there wasn't even a question about buy-in because everyone wanted it so badly. And yeah, that's probably the simplest way to put it. Sean Ryan, Eve obviously mentioned him earlier. He kind of facilitated it and helped us, and he's been huge for us. And just kind of, I don't want to say keep us on tracks, because we're very much capable of doing that on our own, but he's just so good to have in the environment, because he's kind of like this neutral, has opinions but would never like enforce them on you, and just facilitates us so well. And yeah, that's basically it, really.
I was looking back recently at a number of old interviews across the squad from, that 2023 season, and there's just an aura of the players, whether it's in interviews or whether it's on the pitch, that it was just, a really tough slog, and it was emotionally really, really hard. But the squad seems to be, it's night and day. Everybody seems to be really happy, whether it's on the socials that are going out, individual socials, or the RFU stuff, or whether it's just how you're playing your game. It just seems to be so positive. Eve, is that a fair reflection on what you're experiencing within the team?
Yeah, 100%. And like, culture obviously is a huge part of that, of how comfortable we are within the team, with ourselves, with each other, but it's also just the absolute clarity that comes from top class coaches that we have here. If we make a mistake, there's a solution straight away, or if we have a question, there's always an answer. And I think that clarity grows a lot of confidence within the team. There's always areas to improve, and stuff. And I think like the biggest thing as well is like the culture side was completely player led, but coaches allowed that to happen in a sense of like the priority. I remember when we came together under Scott, so like, obviously it was a big change within coaching group and stuff. Our first day together was sitting together in a room and discussing these things, discussing our culture. It wasn't go on a pitch and pass a ball around. It was actually the fact that the priority was us sitting together and talking about, with each other, and getting that buy-in from each other, because we all wanted, the change within ourselves. I think that was huge, that was allowed by coaches to, they saw how important it was for us to be together. And the fact that we spent the first day all together in a room speaking to each other was huge. So yeah, like there's just so much clarity and player involvement within everything, that it's a great place to be. There's never there's never confusion in a sense. There's always just clarity.
It seems like Scott has had a huge impact, not just on the pitch in terms of the systems, but psychologically he's impacted the side hugely. You mentioned earlier this green wave. I think we've heard a lot about it without really understanding what it is. What in essence is it, and how do the fans feed into that, Aoife?
I suppose the green wave is just kind of, I suppose mantra is the best word for it. It's just kind of our buy-in and what we're buying into, and it represents our values to like inspire young girls and boys to pick up a rugby ball, and just has our values and stuff like that. Probably not describing it that well, but it's just, I suppose it's just like kind of a movement type thing that people can just follow, and like as you said, like whoever comes into our environment becomes a part of that green wave, and like everyone who supports us is a part of this green wave. And it's kind of a journey that we've been on since Dubai. It kind of started there, and I suppose it's just how we visualize ourselves, kind of this wave, like of support and everything, I suppose. Um, yeah, movement mantra is probably the best word to try to describe it. But like the girls, the young girls and boys, and like everyone who comes to our games is a part of that green wave for us. And like for a long time, it never even got out of our environment. We just kept it to ourselves. And then I think Sean Ryan was like, okay, maybe it's time to, kind of bring it out to the media and stuff, or, just like carry people along with you. And it's just our journey from where we started, I suppose, initially in Dubai, and has gone on to Canada and Six Nations, and like we've had major milestones like qualifying for the World Cup and then beating the Black Ferns. And yeah, I suppose it's just something people can like look at and think of us and think, oh, I want to support them, or just feel like they're a part of something.
It kind of seems like this real nebulous understanding that is very hard to
Yeah.
define, but it's something that's really building, and it's perfect building towards the World Cup. Eve, the players have had, I suppose, a long-standing almost tradition that at the end of games they engage so well and for so long with the fans, primarily the young fans that are there. How important is that to the side to do that and to be accessible to the young fans and to be role models and to be seen to support and just, I suppose, just exist in a sphere for the fans?
It's huge. It's hugely important for our team, and it's been conversations that we've not only had, under Scott, but before as well, because um, we know how important it is to be those role models for kids, boys and girls. And the huge thing that comes to mind when we play in the likes of France and stuff, the amount of children that are there, and it's boys and girls, and they're there to see women's rugby. And we want to give back as much as what the French have created this huge community of red roses, and it's girls that come and get to see us play, and even if they don't have an opportunity to come and see us in person but sees us on TV, we know how inspiring that is. Like, it's even girls that play different sports. We want to inspire girls to play sports, in a sense. And there's obviously that we've done it wrong in a few times, that we've spent too long outside, and all of a sudden, our nutritionists and stuff are getting annoyed that we're not getting our shakes post. So as much as all of us would love to be there for hours after, we have said as players that how long can we spend, because it's a priority that we have, that especially this year in the Six Nations we had 3 home games, and that was a huge, or sorry, no, yeah, 3 home games. Oh God, my brain is
2 home
gone.
games.
2 home games. Next year is 3 home games. But like, there's just huge opportunities to see fans, and and that's why we want to gain the support, add people along to our green wave, and something that pops into mind as Aoife is speaking is, I've like a vision of Sam standing in front of the room and saying the green wave is the strongest wave in the ocean, and that's what we believe. And to get people on board on this green wave with us, the influence that we have, and spending 2, 3, 10 seconds with the kid is huge. Like, I've a Nace hoodie at home that doesn't even fit me, because I was chatting to an Ace under 14s team, and we swapped t-shirts, we swapped a jersey, and now I have an Ace jumper that I can see in my room. And that's memories for me as well, because I remember being a kid in Ashburn or FC watching the women's play and getting to meet players. And I think because a lot of us have actually played rugby for a long time, we know how important it is to have those role models, and we know how important those 20 seconds it takes us to say hello, to sign someone's jersey, is huge, for hopefully inspiring the years to come, and that person playing rugby or playing sport.
It's funny. I think some people might think it's a little bit corny, but to me, it's something that's so wholesome and so important for the game, because There's nothing better, I think, particularly in women's sport, that builds the game better than interaction with your heroes. I think men's games, and probably because they're so much more evolved, you're quite distant from the players. You might hear them being interviewed, but you don't get to interact with them quite as much in the women's game. I want to move on a little bit and talk about the World Cup coming up this year. For the two of you, Aoife, I'll come to you first. Do you have, as well as an overall group target and a squad target, do you have individual targets that you are setting for yourself for the World Cup?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I'm sure if you ask anyone, they're gonna say they want to play all the games and all that. But like, the first thing for me is like getting on the plane to get there. So I suppose like they're always in like the back of your head, but. And once I find that for myself anyways, once I focus on like how I train and like my on pitch performance, and if I'm kind of relaxed and stuff away from pitch, I'll train better. And so for me, it's just trying to like stay in that state through all of pre-season and stuff, because I don't want to say I don't work well under pressure, because that's not a good thing to have. But I just like, I can't be in any way like worked up or anything going into a session, where some girls need to be like that, and like they need to like get all this energy up and stuff, where I just need to be more content and calmer, because then I know myself, I'll be more comfortable and train better. So for me, I just want to try train really well over the next couple of weeks and hopefully get on the plane, then play a few matches.
So when you hear Nadi's German techno, you walk the other way.
Oh no, you can hear it from outside. It's all glass on the speaker. There's no getting away from it.
Eve, talking about getting on the plane, do you feel that within the squad or within camp that there's that bit of apprehension to perform in camp, because obviously not everybody who's there at the moment is going to get on that plane?
100%, it's huge. We actually were sitting together yesterday, and Noddy actually even asked me, what was it like leading into the Olympics? We qualified a year out, and that's a year countdown of knowing that 12, 14 people were going to make that, and basically how did we cope in a sense of those weeks leading in. And it's very much, obviously the World Cup is there, it's going to happen. But for myself anyway, I focus in the present, and I focus on, what is the things I want to work on today, tomorrow, this week. Because, as much as it's nice looking ahead, it's still 2 months away, 2.5 months away. It's a lot of time, and we need to see it as that, a lot of time to work on things. So it's such an opportunity right now to work on yourself individually. And I think it's going to be extremely hard, because I think it's one of the most competitive squads we've ever been in. It's hugely competitive, but it's brilliant for training then, because every training session is a battle. And I think no matter what, I think the group will know that we're going to be so proud and have such belief in that team that gets selected. And it's also like a huge honor to be selected for a World Cup, and to be a part of that training squad, to be going towards a World Cup that an Irish team wasn't in the last one, and that's huge. And that's a huge thing that we as a squad have focused on. This is a huge opportunity for young girls, boys in Ireland at home to travel, or even the few that are traveling over, they get to see 15 women, 23 women wear a green jersey and play in a World Cup, and that's going to be extremely special for those players. So yeah, I think it's because I think our team is so close, where I think it's a huge honor that we get to see that, and I think it's going to be extremely proud moment for us all to see that.
Do you feel, you mentioned, we obviously missed out on the last World Cup, which is a huge disappointment, but do you feel now that we've qualified for this World Cup and we're building into it, is it pressure off by simply being there, or is it pressure on to really, really perform, Aoife?
No, I wouldn't say it's pressure off at all. Like, I think we've kind of set standards for ourselves with the results we've achieved over the last 18 months, and that people never thought we would. Like, to be like putting in performances against New Zealand, like winning performances, and then like we probably should have beaten France in Belfast this year, but we just weren't good enough on the day. Um, and just really positive kind of performances out there. And I think we've kind of set standards within the squad and expectations of ourselves amongst the squad of what we set out to achieve. And like, we're 100% targeting getting to knockout stages and going further. Like, and we're not afraid to say that anymore. Like, probably in the past, like, if I know if I had to do media, I would have been scared to say like I want to win a game, which sounds crazy, but I definitely was. And like, in this environment now, like, it's okay to, like, I know now it's okay to say you want to go out and put in big performances against like tier one teams and do really well. And yeah, I think I would never say it's pressure off, because we just want to keep getting better and better as a squad. And I think because we've progressed kind of quite quickly in the last 18 months, everyone's just kind of like hungry for more in a way. Because like, the disappointment after that French game was just crazy. And I know, like, a lot in the media, I just, like, Aoife Clark, I remember, said it to me. She's like, oh, there's really positive stuff out there. And I remember Neve Jones was like, we're so disappointed in that. Like, why is there positive stuff? But like, that's a huge takeaway for us, and where the squad's at, that we're not just content with coming second best to these tier one nations. Like, we want to be up there with them. And I know we're a lot smaller and, whatever, but I think it's definitely just the feeling within the squad at the minute is that we want to just keep getting better and better.
I know after that French game, actually, we spoke on the podcast about, and I certainly mentioned that it was a very strange place to be, that it's a positive that we were disappointed that we didn't win. But I think, looking back at the history before that, and you talk about kind of being uncomfortable, talking about wanting to win games, there was a point where we were at that, but now we can talk about, oh, we were so close and they're within reach. The likes of France, very much within reach. We've already beat the Black Ferns in the last 12 months. There is, I suppose, huge anticipation, I think, that those sides are beatable. But at the same time, Eve, we're looking at a pool that, if you look from the men's game, Spain and Japan wouldn't be huge competition, but in the women's game, very much so. In the last few years, we beat Spain, but by 2 points in WXV3, and Japan, we won one, lost one on the road out there. Do you think our expectations are set that we will beat them, or is it a daunting task nonetheless?
It's huge. It's like you said, around, they are extremely competitive teams, and Japan as well. We haven't played them in a long time. It is going back 2 years. It's going to be 2 years pretty much, when it comes to it. And we actually only spoke about it as a team recently around, we can be confident in ourselves, but we know if we don't show up, they're very dangerous teams. It's not going to, like, there's no easy game in a World Cup, and I think that's the huge reality in it. And so that's why, like, there's also that added aspect of, like, not looking too far ahead, not having your eye on something ahead when there's a team right in front of you. And it's going to be hugely challenging. Spain have some unbelievable players in their team. Claudia Pena has been unbelievable for Harlequins this year in the PWR. And, and I actually couldn't believe, because I've played against her on the 7 series, I couldn't believe she was only 19 there recently, or 20. And I was like, what age was she on the series? Like, it's ridiculous. Like, she's an unbelievable player. So both teams have world-class players. And I think we're very much, we've, as much as we can look back at results over the last year and a half and be proud and, have confidence in ourselves, we also have a few results where we've learned a lot from, and that we've been disappointed. And, even going literally to the Scotland game in the Six Nations, we're extremely disappointed after that game. and, have learned a lot from it. And then even if you look at the England game coming in at half time and then for 40 minutes to go in a flash, like that was huge learning for us. So it's very much looking who's in front of you and taking it one game at a time, and never be complacent, because the World Cup will hurt you if you are. So yeah.
Are your friends and family traveling over?
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully. We're so lucky that it's only a short flight over. So hopefully we get to see a lot of green jerseys in the crowds.
Aoife, for you, are there plans for family and friends to come over? Flights booked?
Yeah, well, no flights booked yet. They'll push it out until selection, I'd say. But yeah, hopefully, anyways. I have a few cousins in England, so they'll be in their green jerseys.
Lovely. Well, we're probably at our favourite point of the podcast. Cian, take over.
Right, we're into the lucky dip. This is, you pick a number, jersey number between 1 and 15. That number is assigned a random question. And again, doesn't need to be a big answer, doesn't need to be a clever answer, but we need an answer. So what, Eve, we'll let you go first. Pick a number between 1 and 15.
I'm going to pick Nevo Dow, number 1.
Number 1. If your team had a mascot based on your personality or playing style, what animal would it be?
I'd go personality, or spirit animal. I'll go shark. A few of us in the team have little Pam pals. They're little teddies, and mine's a shark, so I'm going to say shark.
I could see a little shark coming out of the green wave there. That
Oh,
works.
see, it goes very well. Nice, yeah, no. I'm gonna pretend like I made that connection.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's yours, absolutely. Okay, Aoife, number between 1 and 15.
I'll go with 10.
You'll go with 10. If you could instantly become an expert in any non-rugby skill, what would it be?
Probably my college course, actually. I'm doing radiography, and I'm far from an expert in X-ray, so I'd probably go there. Get me over the line. So yeah.
Instant degree is actually probably not the worst answer for that question.
I know, I could do it. Jesus.
Right, we'll wrap it up there. Aoife Dalton and Eve Higgins, thank you so much for your time and your energy. I hope the rest of pre-season is a little bit kind to you. Remember, Mother Rucker's your go-to space for dedicated content on Irish women's rugby. Please follow and rate us wherever you get your podcasts. Watch the space for more pre-season, World Cup warm-up and Rugby World Cup content. Until then, keep on rugging.